Have you ever felt completely erased by the silence of your spouse? That cold, heavy withdrawal that feels less like space and more like emotional punishment? The silent treatment is one of the most painful, passive aggressive tactics in any relationship, and it leaves us feeling helpless, angry, and deeply insecure. We're told it's just bad communication, but spiritually, it's so much more. Today, I'm not going to just complain about silence, but I will give you the master blueprint to understand it. Your Vedic astrology chart holds the exact reason why this pain is happening and crucially holds the key to the solution. Your spouse's silence is not a random attack. It's a karmic messenger delivering a specific urgent lesson that's tailored to your soul's journey. I'm going to show you how your chart reveals the basis for this crisis, and I'll introduce you to some of the major spiritual lessons that your soul has agreed to master in this lifetime, the lessons that are hidden in your own chart houses. So this is your guide to my complete series on the silent treatment. It's designed to empower you to stop chasing the silence and start fulfilling your destiny. So, what is the astrological core in terms of receiving silent treatment? Well, it's in your seventh house. The seventh house and first house are directly related to the silent treatment. So in Vedic astrology, all partnership issues, including the silent treatment, they relate directly to the seventh house. It's the house of your spouse, your partner, your contract, your relationships, partnerships. But the real lesson is always about the axis, the seventh and first axis. The seventh house, it's opposite your first house, which is you, your self-worth, your body, your independence. The spiritual purpose of the seventh house is to reflect back to you the work that you haven't completed in the first house. So when the silence hits, it is exposing a fundamental weakness. You have placed your peace and your self-worth outside of yourself, in the hands of the seventh house partner. Their silence is the universe's pressure designed to force you to retrieve that energy and build your own first house. This crisis is not a problem with your partner. It's a karmic assignment for your own soul. So I'll be creating a series of videos on silent treatments to tell you how your chart reveals the specific reason why you are dealing with the silent treatment, and you can get the solutions to them. Let me give you a few examples of the topics of these series that I'll be creating, and I'll be providing you with solutions there too in those videos. This is just a little synopsis of the detailed videos that are to follow soon. So, why silence is your spiritual assignment? Let's talk about it. There's lots of planets, lots of afflictions that are going to be a part of this. The silent treatment manifests differently for everyone because it attacks the area where your specific chart is weakest. The nature of the silence, the length, the intensity, the trigger points. These things point directly to the planet or house that controls your specific lesson, yours. I'm going to briefly introduce you to 7 different types of silent treatments we will master in this particular series. The first one is your self-worth test, which is the first and the 7th axis. This is the most basic test. It's called the silence is a mirror. Your deepest pain comes from placing your value on your partner's communication. What's the lesson here? The lesson is to find inner validation. So their withdrawal cannot touch your core. So stay tuned for the video on this first and 7th axis for silent treatment. That will be the first video. The second is going to be the Saturn test. Saturn is discipline and time. Its crisis is marked by long, cold delays of Saturn. Saturn demands that you use the time for unwavering self-discipline and patience, building an internal structure that fear cannot penetrate. So stay tuned for this video on silent treatment and Saturn's role in your chart and how or if it's connected to your chart. The third video will be the shadow of Venus. So the silence is a form of emotional punishment in this particular one, love being withheld. The lesson is to break that karmic pattern of dependency and demand a relationship that's based on mature love and respect, not emotional blackmail. So that will also be one of the videos that I will tell you in detail whether your Venus is impacting you receiving silent treatment in your chart. The fourth one is going to be the third house antidote, which is a communication house. When spoken words fail, this lesson asks you to use the power of the written word. The solution is assertive clarity, using a short, factual letter to set boundaries and define the acceptable terms of dialogue. This is a very important video. You definitely want to watch it. If your partner's third house might be impacted, or your ninth house might be impacted, as that is your partner's communication house in terms of your ninth house. So stay tuned for that video also. The next video will talk about the eighth house crisis, which is a house of transformation. If the silence creates sudden, intense, emotional upheaval, it's the eighth house. Your spiritual task here is to surrender control, analyze the shadow dynamics, and use the crisis for radical, powerful self-transformation. This is a big topic that everyone needs to watch, as eighth house is powerful in our chart. That gives us the power of rising from the ashes like a phoenix. It's important. Stay tuned. If you may be running a dasha that might be related somehow to your eighth house. A lot of times silent treatment happens during dashas. Next one would be the fourth house, emotional wounds. When the silence triggers a primal fear of abandonment and lack of safety, it's a childhood wound. It's a fourth house wound. The lesson is to become the secure, conscious parent to your own inner child, healing the emotional foundation of your life that you were not able to get when you were a child. This is a video that is a must watch, I would say, for almost everyone, every single person in the world, in my opinion. This can change your life. And so will the other videos also. But this one is one that you just cannot afford to miss. Fourth house is our mind, our happiness, our emotional intelligence, our emotional world. The next one is going to be Mars in the third house. If your instinct is to escalate to aggression, this is your lesson. You must channel your Mars energy away from fighting and into precise, factual assertion, using your courage to set firm boundaries without yelling. So stay tuned for this video if Mars is in your third house, or even aspecting it by sitting in your ninth house, or being the lord of the third house, Mars, or a planet that's sitting in your third house that's aspected by Mars. Or if your third house lord is in one of Mars nakshatra, you can see that impact. So given the upcoming video series, I do want to talk about the core spiritual strategy, one core spiritual strategy for you that I'll give you right now. It's called seva, service, and sovereignty. Seva is something that takes care of a lot of issues in our chart. Regardless of which specific planetary lesson is yours, the best strategy to win the silent treatment is twofold. Sovereignty for ourselves and the seva, service. Sovereignty is your first house. You must declare emotional independence. Stop chasing, stop pleading. You must be so busy fulfilling your own spiritual and material goals that your partner's silence is reduced to a background noise. I'm telling you. When you focus solely on your self-worth, their power evaporates. And the next is service, which is your karmic release. Conflict is often uprooted in unresolved karma, which is your sixth house energy. You can transmute this negative emotional energy into positive karmic credit by committing to selfless service. Take the frustration you feel and channel it into an act of good for someone less fortunate. This act of giving releases the negative pressure and frees you from the cycle of conflict. So, the silent treatment is a painful, difficult key, but it unlocks the most important door. The door to your soul's greatest evolution. By understanding the astrological blueprint of your crisis, you stop being a victim of your relationship and start fulfilling your karmic contract. You're not just ending a fight, you're achieving a spiritual sovereignty. So this video is a master blueprint. In the coming weeks, I will be releasing full in-depth video on each of the topics that I mentioned just earlier, at least 7, and perhaps several more, to really address this major issue in our lives that's known as the silent treatment, causing depression. There are several other planets that can impact giving and receiving silent treatment in our chart. Some of these are Rahu's illusion and Moon sitting debilitated, among others as well. Also the impact of Ketu with Mercury, etc. So here are your final assignments for today to prepare for the series. First, I want to know. Tell me in the comments, which of the 7 lessons resonated most deeply with your current struggle? And what is the one thing that you will do today to focus on your first house strength? I'm going to give you a lot of examples in the upcoming videos. Second, let's start the karmic cleanup. Do one good deed of the day today for someone less fortunate. Channel that difficult emotional energy into selfless service, seva. And finally, to ensure you don't miss any part of this essential series, subscribe, hit like, and don't forget to press the bell icon. This is your journey of transformation. And definitely share this video with someone. That could be another good deed of the day. Again, thank you so much for watching. Until next time.